All right. Welcome to session 4 of our Build in Public of Local Business Upvoting app. Hopefully the audio in this video is better. We got the podcast mic out, so that should be good. I'm going to double check right now and make sure we're all set. Looks like we're good on Twitches, and I see audio. All right, we'll get started. So let me switch cameras to the right screen. In our last session, we tackled a bunch of these bugs over here, but not this sort based on vote count. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to do today. And then we talked about site navigation. We already did that as well. So we'll mark those green. So if you remember from last session, and again, if you're just now joining us, we're building a upvoting app like Reddit. I'll switch screen to the middle here so you can see that. And with that tool, we're just trying to prove the functionality. This is exercise 1 in the AirDev Bootcamp for Bubble, which is a no-code website app builder. The power of this tool is you don't have to know how to program to build functional apps. So the prompt for this exercise for our task 1 was to build this upvoting like Reddit, like Product Hunt, with the ability to for users to add an item and then upvote it. So we're logged in right now, so we would be able to, you know, also remove your upvote or add it. So since we last met, I rebuilt our Sprint 4 list of things to do. I also did just a little bit of cleaning up and then added a few features, nothing major. I even have to fix this one up here with the width and the right. But today we're going to focus on the sorting because that's the final requirement left on this project from the boot camp. And then once we get done with that, we will also fix the My Votes section. And then we're going to add a section similar to My Votes, but it's going to be my businesses. So as a user adds businesses, they would be able to see that in that list so they could easily update or edit or delete. All right, we're going to get started. So with the sorting, by default, we want it to sort by votes. And in our last video, we were running into when we go to sort this repeating group, we couldn't do it by the votes. So since then, I've played around with this, got some ideas, and kind of reverted some of it back so that way I could walk you all through it. But the basis is before our business type, we only had our list of users, and then we were doing a count of that list to determine the number of votes. In order to get this sorting, though, we have to be able to have an actual cell to sort by, not a kind of a formula of that field per se. So all that to say, we had to create a new field called votes. I changed the previous field that was called votes to voters. And so we're going to have to update a few things based on this new feature set, but that's not going to take any time at all because Bubble, again, is a great tool. So we're going to come into our app data real quickly and just update that vote count to be accurate, kind of like to initialize it. So let's modify each of these. There's 2 people in there, 2 voters. So we're going to initialize it as 2. We have 3 for pocket change. We'll initialize it as 3. because the idea is as people upvote or remove their vote, we're just going to add one or remove one from this votes count. So we'll add the user because that's how we'll do our validation. But then we'll also do the calculation with this field. And so everything would work. And so we're just going to set some initial values as if we had this feature built the whole time. So 3, 1, 3, 2. And now if we come back to the design page, we'll be able to sort by votes. And descending, I believe that's what we want. Let's double check. We might have to flip that. Hit refresh real quick. And perfect. So now it's sorting. So let's say we remove a vote here. It should drop down. It did not. So we'll need to set it up to basically always be sorting. So whenever we upvote or not, we'll want to update that sort. So here's the update, make changes to business. We're going to have to update quite a few of these again because we changed some of the functionality. So over here, voters remove current user and votes equals parent groups business votes. Then we're going to do -1. All right. So if it already exists, we're going to remove the user and we're going to remove a vote count. Okay. And then we'll come up to this next one. To make changes, we're going to add a user and we're going to add a vote count. So parent business votes +1. All right. And then let's see. We got that one. Sign in, log in, delete, cancel, add. So that should, in theory, fix that for us. And the last thing we need to do, I just realized that we were sorting on votes. That's why it wasn't updating in real time, because I had removed user. I just want to make sure this is correct. So we only have 2 here. I'll reinitialize in the database. But once we come back here, the last thing we need to do is change this from the count function to the actual votes value. All right, so we'll do that. We could have left it at the count, but by just calling the value of that cell, it's less kind of work on the database because we're not doing a query to find all the users. So as you get into more and more users, it's going to have to run that query and then to find out who all voted for that item, what that list is, and then count it. We already have that count already done, so we're just going to pull that count rather than running the calculation. So if we refresh on this, then this should actually sort in Renaissance. It is. And then if we remove, let's say we upvote Renaissance, it moves to the top. But then if we remove pocket change, it's going to stay in value. If we remove naive and noche, so you see the sorting is working, which is great. The second we do noche, it's going to bump up. Pocket change will move to the top. So sorting's working. That's really the last thing in the requirements that we had for this project, which is awesome. We could submit this as is, which is great. We've done a lot of feature testing The only thing that's not working is this map. But we also told it, if there's no website, don't show website. Um, if you have questions on Twitch, go ahead and put it in the chat, or you can message us on Twitter at Lopes Silvera or at Made with Bourbon. But let us know who's here. Let's say hi. Let us know if you have any questions or if there's any features that you'd like to add, and we'll try and address them. All right. So continuing on, we know that the map isn't working. We have that over here on our list of things. So I'm going to mark sorting green. But the map isn't working. So that's in our bug list. User testing, add sorting. We just did that. That was a duplicate. Add submitted event section. So right now, if we come back to our app, we have this my vote section, but you'll notice it doesn't have any of the functionality of the section up here. So even when you hover. So what we're going to do is we're just going to duplicate this and do a half of the page. So we can have a my vote section and then also have a my businesses. So this is actually really easy because we can just copy this group. I'm going to delete this one and then we'll paste this group down. All right. Cool. And then let me just realign this. All right. We'll have to modify a few things. So like first off this is going to be repeating group my votes. And then we're going to want to adjust the width of it as well. We're going to have to move some things around. With this being the my votes, we don't necessarily need the description though. So we're going to save some space that way. If we open our elements tree, we don't need that. We don't need that. We need repeating group my votes. Okay. And we're going to bring this to be halfway. It's not letting us because we have these buttons over here. So I'm going to make these viewable. Show all of our things. So we're going to drag learn more over here. And then we'll also put the edit and delete button. And so as soon as we move these, now we'll be able to, and we'll shrink this down. This grid is 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll stop this short there and then move that over here. So that way we have room for our second list. And the nice thing is once we have this set up, we'll just duplicate this again for the my businesses. All right. I don't see any questions on Twitch. So we'll keep moving. And then we're going to left align this. We can just delete the right and it'll left align by default. And this, let's see if it copied the functionality. It did not. Okay, so what we can do, I'm going to delete that. We're going to come back here and we're just going to make sure all of these have a clear name. So icon, upvote, my votes, text, vote count, my votes, and then row business name, my votes. Button edit, my votes. delete my votes, and we'll name this row my vote. Okay, so that's going to help us, clarify once we get over to workflows. Otherwise, it would get really messy. And then we'll do text, learn more, my vote. So we have everything labeled now over here. So now when we go to the workflow, what we can do is on the upvote, we're going to copy this and close out of that. There it is, new event. Then paste a new event. And that's this one here. And then we're going to replace. Actually, let's element. Okay, here we go. I was trying to find where to change the element. We just want to change this from the icon chevron circle to the my vote icon. Whenever that's clicked, we're going to make the changes to the business, and that all stays the same. So this is going to be the tricky part, is keeping all of these sorted. So I'm going to make these some colors just so we know. All right. Contains current user, does not contain. So we're going to copy this, or you could do Command D. Nope, wrong key. So we'll just copy this and then paste it on a new event. And change that to my votes. We're also going to change the color to blue so we can keep that clear. All right. Parent groups, voter contains current user. Make changes, voters remove, parent groups, thing to change. That looks good. We just want to make sure that it's changing the relative thing. All right. So that should be good. And then we can also do copy this. When button delete is clicked, we want it to go through the same things. We're just going to change the button. So button delete my votes. And then the rest should continue. Show the pop-up, display the data, and we'll make that color blue. And then we'll do the same thing for here. Blue, change the button edit to button edit my votes. All right. And make sure that's parents group. Cool. All right. So now we have all of our my votes. Let's just make sure my edit, add a business, that's not different. Cancel, that's not going to be different. Button delete is clicked. That's not going to be different either. Login's not going to be different. And then learn more. We do have to duplicate the learn more. Let's do that. Learn more. My votes. Okay. And we'll make that blue. And then go to page view. All right. So with that being said, we should have that updated. And my vote section should be totally functional and take up half the page. Let's check that out. All right. It is. There's a little like funkiness since we took out the description to where when these icons aren't showing, it's taken up a lot of space. So we can fix that. How do we want to do that? Let's first come over to design. See if we can square all that up. And how do we want to do this? Because these icons are only going to show if you have created. So most people won't see this. Let's just leave this learn more. Well, that would get to be a lot. Let's add the description back, actually. And we'll make this. Let's actually just do that. So we're going to move these edit icons up and to the right. And then we'll put learn more over here to the right and drop that down. Let's see what that does. Hit refresh. And then I'll show you all how we were able to keep the functionality. Again, if you have any questions, let us know on the Twitch chat or on Twitter. I'll be checking both. All right, so again, this feels a little wonky because this is staying at the top. Let's see if it'll let us vertically center. Center the text vertically. Yeah, let's do that. And then we're actually going to, let's leave that for now. So this should center vertically without the description. And again, if you think that we should leave the description, let me know in the comments. It's looking better. Again, we've not really put much design to this, so that's not been the focus of this lesson. So it just hasn't happened. But if you have ideas, let us know in the chat and we'll look into that. All right, learn more. Here, good. And I think we're good for now on that. So I'm just going to copy this whole thing and we're going to just move it straight over. It didn't grab my votes, but that's okay. That's pretty close. We'll align the bottom. Do the same here. And we do need to shorten that. Copy and paste. All right. So we'll change this to my businesses. I think that's probably more accurate. Thanks for submitting businesses to our list. You can quickly access and manage them here. All right, so we just want to give some context to that. And then we're going to change the conditional to log in to see businesses you've submitted. And we're also going to add another, we're going to add another condition to this text to say when the current user, or I'm sorry, when do a search for businesses that the creator created by is equal to the current user. When that count is less than 1, we're going to change the text again. Let's just say currently you've not submitted any local businesses. When you do, they will show up here for quick access and to be managed. So the idea is we just want to give them some context to what this section is. All right, let's see how that fares. Oh, and the last thing we need to do is change this to search for businesses, and the constraint is where the creator created by equal to the current user. Right, and it's still going to sort by the amount of votes. And then we need to do the same over here because we duplicated both of these tables from the previous one, so it doesn't have that constraint. So where voters contains current user. And so now when we refresh, you'll see that this list will drop to just Pocket Change and Noche because those are the only two this user has voted for. But I believe this user has created all 4. Yep, these are showing up. So we'll do that. And that's what you'll see, or that's what we expect to see. So let's see if that works out. All right. So we're only seeing those 2 as we expected. That's dropping down. So again, not the greatest user experience. We'll need to tweak that a little bit. And then the same is happening over here. So we'll need to tweak that. But these aren't functional again. Okay. So we would need to add those as well. All right. Tackle another bug. So real quickly, let's see why that's happening. Cover. So all these items are in the row. When it's showing, it's dropping that down. Technically, that is centered. Not centered. Let's see if that. I don't think it did, but see. Nope, it's still dropping down. All right, that's not as big of a deal. Let's make sure that these are all updated. So this should be my business. And then I'm just going to copy that so we can quickly go through and replace that. Let's show. fees. Date their names. All right, edit. Business submit, edit. All right, so let's go do the workflow and get this section working. All right, button delete, copy, paste, and change button delete, submitted, make that red. So now we have all three of these. Still relational to the parent group. We'll copy that, paste it again. So we'll know we'll need to have 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that'll help make it quick. This is edit, edit and submitted, red, relative, cool. All right, we'll do the same here, copy, paste, red, upvote, business, right. Parent groups contains current user, make changes. That's correct. Right, copy that, paste it, red, upvote, good to go. And then the last one, copy, paste, and red, and learn more. And there's all of our functionality. And then the last thing that I want to do is I'm going to come back here. And shorten this. Access and manage businesses you've submitted here. Log in to see. Submit a business to manage it here. And let's see if it'll let us link submit a business. I've not tried this with this editor, so let's see. Nope, it will not. All right, so what we can do is maybe, I don't want to bring that in too much. I think that'll be good. And then the last thing is with that dropping down upon hover, and these are visible. It doesn't make sense that it would. You know, these bugs. That's why we call them bugs. All right. So now all of these functionalities should be there. I'm going to see if I can go into a new user, log in, and submit an event. Not now. So that way we can see if, so real quickly, you'll see there's no businesses that this user has submitted. And then change the order again, everything's working. Or this user hasn't, they didn't create this, so we're not seeing the edit icons there, which is correct. And so it looks like this learn more button is what's causing this moving issue, not the edit or delete. So let's go ahead and add a business. to this list. Let's do against the grain. Another great brew house, great beer, and barbecue. We have a lot of beer and barbecue in Louisville. And then let's see if our search. Yep, we want that one. Save business. All right. Okay, so we do need to update that initialization. So what we're seeing is this user created this business and we upvoted it, but we did not update upon creation to add a vote count. So we'll need to do that. That's why this is blank. So that's a great, doing some user testing that we learned that. So let's do that real quick. If we go to the submit business, submit business reusable, and then edit that workflow. All right, create a business, voters, add current user, and votes. Votes is equal to parent groups. Well, we're just going to set that to 1, right? Because we're just initializing it. Reset business, hide business, go duplicate. That's all the same. We're not changing the votes there. All right, show message duplicate. Cool. All right, so that should do it. We're going to come back over here into the database real quick and update that though, because that would be an issue. So great mirror votes 1. All right. So that's already updated. And you'll see that this edit only shows for the one they submitted, which is great. We hit edit. There it is. So, all right. There we go. If we come back to our list, we did add submitted events, which is green, and fix my votes, which is green. And so this user type of community manager, the idea here is they would have access to edit all of the events. So in theory, that would be pretty easy. All we have to do is come over to our database, to our user, and create a new field called type, right? Because it's a user and this would be a user type. And make it a text, or we could make it a yes, no, right? So if it's clicked, we could name this admin or community manager. If it's yes, then they get full permissions. If it's no, they don't. But I do want, one thing I do want to do is in the future, we want to add the ability to where a business owner could claim a business and then they could edit their business as well. So we're going to do it based on type, and it'll be a it could be multiple users, right? Because you could be a regular user that submits other people's business, but you could always also be a business owner as well. So we'll do it a list of text. Or we can delete that real quick and do a list here of user types. And then we could create a new field over here for type of user, and then tell it it's a user type. And this would give us the most flexibility. That's funny. They, as Bubble, automatically add ES to the end of like to pluralize. We'll come back to user types and create a new field. And we'll do name, and that's a text. So the name of that user type. And for the data of user types, we're just going to add a new entry such as community manager, create. And then we can also do one that's business owner, create. And we could do subscriber or all right. So we have three types: member, business owner, or community manager. And then we can assign users to those types. So if I wanted to make myself a community manager, I could do that. Type of thing, user, okay. I don't know what that run as is. Oh, run the app as if you were that user. Okay. All right. Real quickly. So in theory, this would pop up our options. We might have to do this a different way. So we'll add that functionality later because again, it's not core to this project. But let's see if there's anything else that we want to do. I'm just going to show all this. And one thing that we said is our website, a bug that we noticed is you can enter text. And obviously, if you enter text and it tries to link it, that wouldn't work. So eventually adding some, just some like validation to make sure it's a website. So, but we can do that later. All right, coming back to, oh wow, I've been on the right screen the whole time and you all saw none of that. I apologize. Again, I'm still pretty bad at that. We know down the road we want to add business types and filtering based on business type. So that would be like adding new constraints to that list. But we're going to go ahead and prep this for submission. And before we do that, I might actually even turn off to learn more because again, that's out of the scope of this. So if we come back to the list and we look at each of these, only show hideable and learn more, and learn more. So the easiest way to hide these is just to turn off the conditional. So that way they never show. And then that way we're not deleting any like functionality that would be too hard to recover. Also, that solves our funky changing over here. So you see we lost that functionality, but we can still edit and delete and edit and delete, edit and delete. So that's just a quick way to remove a function, because again, it's out of the scope of this, but not too bad. And to tidy things up, I'm going to center these, and we can always fix that later as well. So if I do center vertically, yep, perfect. We'll do the same here, center vertically. So if we were to ever re-enable Learn More, then that would be covering it. But for now, we'll be all right because they're hidden. Refresh. And that looks good. That looks good. And that looks good. Cool. And then the last thing we're going to do is just a touch of styling. And these to where when you hover over this group is hovered, we're going to change the background style. And we're just going to make it super soft. F6, F6, F6. So just a subtle change. And we're going to copy that condition, do the same thing over here. And this is just so that way when the user hovers, like they feel like they're hovering. So really minor, but I think it helps. All right. See what that looks like. And then if we wanted to keep the functionality of that website, we could. So see how it's super subtle, but I think it's nice. My like gut would say if it's hovering, then it should do something. Obviously, it's not. So we could say, when this group is hovered and the current sales business has a website that is not empty, then we could link it. Oop, move that condition, define another property. We could have made it clickable. And yeah, let's just not do that. I was trying to link it to the current sales website. And we could do that with a workflow. To where when the repeating group is clicked, where is it? Is clicked, then we navigate to an external website, and the destination is this group's business website. And so that would work. And then we would change it to only when this group's business website is not empty. All right. So we come back, hit refresh. But again, we haven't validated the website, so this kind of could be a little buggy. But so you see there's an arrow, like it's linked, but it's not. But we could link Noche's website. So like that's a little wonky. So we could say in the design, if when this group's business website is empty, then we make this element not clickable. And that should get rid of the error, the hand. You see that little hand? Let's see if that does that. So again, these are like super minor like tweaks, but we're trying to think of, yeah, see how the hand goes away, but then if we can click on it, the hand's there. So that's what we're doing there. The last thing would be if we wanted to copy that functionality over to these items down here, we could do that. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty good for submitting this. Again, the reason why we got rid of Learn More was the requirements of this app said single page, and we are linking them out to the information page. You know, another way we could have fixed that is just doing a pop-up. So that's an idea as well. But for now, I think this is pretty good. So we'll submit this, and then in our next sprint, after we submit it, we'll look into adding some features. Kind of once the teacher is graded, we'll revisit this and come back to it. So if you have ideas, let us know in the comments of like features you want to see added. And I didn't switch it over back again. I'm so sorry to whoever's watching this. I wish we could like program it based on where the mouse is what you all see. I think that would be really interesting. Or we just have a producer in my ear letting me know, or you're in the chat letting me know. But anyways, we'll go with this, and thanks for joining us. We'll catch you on another stream.